$27 a kilo chicken breasts. My goodness, Tyler. There's been a lot made of this week in Canada on Twitter and in traditional media. What does $27 a kilo chicken speak to in terms of the current landscape of food affordability in this country?
I think, Chris, there's two different issues. One's the actual cost of the chicken, and the other is the reaction to it. And so I think maybe just start quickly with the actual cost of the chicken, right? It's important to understand that not all food is created equally, and so some food meets higher standards, offers a niche for some consumers that are willing to pay more for it. And again, and this is the case, this is what happened. This wasn't just your run-of-the-mill whole chicken that's probably some of the cheapest meat that you can buy in the grocery store. This was boneless, skinless chicken breast that was raised without antibiotics and met a couple of other standards. And so people are going to pay more for that. That is not unusual, but those prices are going to be higher than other products. And that's why it really is important for consumers when they're shopping to understand what exactly it is that they're buying, because you don't have to pay $27 a kilogram in order to get good quality chicken protein. There's a lot of other more affordable ways, and so it's important to understand that context, that what this was for is for expensive meat. It costs more to raise it, more goes into it, and it costs more as a result. The reaction, on the other hand, is a whole different story.
I have to say though, like my reaction when I saw that, I was looking at it and I thought, that doesn't seem completely out of the realm of what I've seen in the grocery store. So what's the big deal here? I always find ways to look for cheaper chicken if I don't like the price of it that day, or whatever the meat or protein is. And some of the feedback that I saw from people was exactly that, right? That people are they're willing to look at different cuts. They're willing to look at different options week to week, and they're not maybe as tied as they once were into preset ideas of what they're going to the grocery store to get. Is that something that you're seeing as well?
Yeah, I think so, and certainly we see the food industry trying to react to that, trying to offer up different products that respond to price-conscious consumers. Ground beef it's a good example whereas demand for ground beef may be getting more expensive because more people are buying it, right? So they go from buying a more expensive meat cut down into ground beef, and that can actually put some pressure to drive ground beef prices up. But it still continues to be a very affordable product. It's almost the flip side. So you get ground beef that could be more affordable. A whole chicken can be more affordable. I think a lot of people will look at these barbecue chickens that are in the store and really wonder how they can be more affordable. But if you buy a whole frozen chicken, and people I'm sure bought some turkeys over the holidays, they may have been more expensive than normal, but are probably still a really affordable way to bring a lot of protein home. And if you're willing to put that time in to cook it and then to carve it, to do that work at home, it is continued to be very, very a good option for consumers. Buying high-end chicken is going to cost you more money.
We've talked a lot about food affordability in the last year. We haven't had the deep discussions on food security in Canada. Those are two different things. Can you break that down for us in terms of what we talk about in terms of food affordability versus what is food security, and why is that food security piece so important and such a tough nut to crack?
And again, I think the attention that gets paid to expensive chicken does a good job of confusing the issues. Food security is an issue in Canada. Food prices are a concern, food prices going up, but food security is different. The ability of people to put good quality, healthy, affordable food on their table, the ability of families of Canadians to afford food, often is driven not by the cost of the food, but by their income and their household security, income security. And so as we've seen the impact of COVID, as we've seen the impact of the pandemic, as we think about a potential recession that's coming, and what that might mean for employment, and what that might mean for people's savings and people's income levels, again, it really does should focus the mind on this real serious issue about how do we ensure Canadians can afford to eat. And the solution is really usually not looking at worrying about the price of chicken on the store, but how do we make sure that they have enough income coming in order to meet it? Governments offer a series of programs, but it's also important to recognize that not everyone needs the same help. This really is an issue that hits lower income Canadians harder. They are the ones that need more targeted help. If you look at public opinion research that's been done over the last year, it really has driven home this reality that for lower income Canadians, food security, the ability to put food on the table really is a major concern. It is something that they worry about. And governments need to understand that, and there are policy tools that they can use to respond to that. It's not as much of a concern if you're a middle income or a high income earner in this country. You may be concerned about the cost of food, you may be noticing food going up, but it's not probably making you lose sleep at night the way that it is for an unfortunate growing number of lower income Canadians.